Good. Lovely. Thank you.
Good turnout.
Except for John.
Oh, he said he tried to make it later.
Yes, I'm sure he did.
Nobody lays on plush parties for me. When I quit, they just can't pay for Clifford.
Well, you're not the retiring chairman of the National Exports Board, Tom.
Not hard-faced enough.
No.
Lady Wilder, a great pleasure to see you. Sir John?
He asked me to apologize. He said he'd try and make it later.
He is a busy man. Lady Wilder, this is Edward Newark, another board member. Edward, Lady Wilder.
How do you
do? Excuse me?
Oh, Mr. Newark's one of the trade unionists on the board.
Really? Arise, all you prisoners of starvation.
We've arisen. Ask your husband.
The difficulty with receptions visit, there are far too many people. Drive me straight to Panton's. Yes.
Well, this is the way for a chairman to go, floating out on a tide of liquor provided by the taxpayer.
Well, I can get you a glass of water.
No, not likely. I pay my taxes.
I don't see Wilder.
Well, he's been with Rebbage all afternoon checking the till, I think. Oh, there's his wife, with Henderson.
Oh, yes.
And company.
Good evening, Miss Weldon. Lady Wilder, do you know Susan Weldon?
How do you do? Hello, darling.
Hello.
How do you do? I know of you, of course, and we've spoken on the telephone once.
Oh, yes, I remember. You were looking for Sir John.
A not unusual phenomenon. Are you enjoying yourself this evening?
Well, it's part of my job, and... Well, yes, I am enjoying myself. I'm afraid this sort of thing must seem very dull for you.
Well, it's part of my job, too. Of course, it's a marvelous opportunity to meet people one normally only hears about.
And a memo to Sir Gordon Rebbage. Following our finance board meeting this afternoon, I note that you are dissatisfied with the return on bank capital invested in Blythes. I take it, therefore, I have full authority to investigate other avenues of profitability within the company's activities.
Sorry. Oh, dear. Okay? Sorry.
Well, it's not like Wilder to miss this sort of chance of the limelight.
I'd like to know what he's up to while you're getting your share of it.
Nothing. He's keeping out of the way. The NEB needs a new chairman, and Wilder isn't even in the running for it, and he knows it. Oh, there'll be the usual rigmarole, but the job's mine.
Sir John Wilder, Mr. Patton.
All right, George.
Thank you.
You're wasting your time, Wilder. I'm not in the market for a takeover.
You might not have much say in it. Ask your accountants.
We make a profit, a big one. They'll do as they're told. You want a drink, help yourself. The barmaid's run off with a commercial traveller.
Probably overwhelmed by your old world courtesy.
Why should I be polite to you?
Then let's dispense with the politeness. I can do business with you, or I can break you.
If Caswell Bligh lets you.
Bligh's a very busy man. The days when he was running a one-man stall are over.
That's better. The fancy boy manners are wasted on me.
But they tell me that you can read a balance sheet. I am one of your shareholders. There's your profit and loss account. Very handsome. Hiring out of equipment is very productive. But the red figures show what would happen if Blighs took away their business. Well, let's go and have dinner and talk about it politely. My car's outside, and I'm very hungry.
Empty glasses and full ashtrays, the remains of tribute.
Well, he made a good speech. I'm sorry to see him go.
Don't be. The job would have killed him. He's being very sensible. You can feel sorry for me, if you like.
And last time you said that, I was on the receiving end of a very oblique lecture.
Not this time. Advice, perhaps. A chink in the civil service discretion.
Not you, even with a drink that size.
Thank you. The opportunity I need. The NEB chairmanship is a big job, and it's going to get bigger. There'll be a lot of sharp jockeying for position, and we must not become involved. It's Gillingham versus Bligh.
Gillingham? He'd take it?
With increased powers, of course he'd take it, and the lobbying has begun already. Bligh is in much the best position, of course, but it's by no means a walkover, whatever Bligh thinks.
Why tell me?
Because whatever happens, we are involved. Not the self-seekers, the Gillinghams, the Blighs, the Wilders. Us. The agenda compilers, the writers of minutes. Gillingham understands this. I doubt that the others do.
Whose idea was this?
Mine. It massages my ego to be seen in public with attractive, well-dressed women.
I've not been here before. Is it?
John recommended it. If that's what you're getting at.
Ah, togetherness by proxy. It's quite an improvement. All part of the latest plan. Wives will be warned this season. Sometimes.
You know, if this keeps up, I shall begin by ordering a large portion of indigestion tablet.
I'll start with the soup. John's business this evening. NEB? Blythe? Personal?
Now, don't ask me. If he gets any more aisles, he'll want another fire.
There's a friend of yours just come in.
Shall we wait?
Later, timidly. Anyway, if he's here on business, he wouldn't notice if you stepped out of the tablecloth. You know, I am suddenly and very pleasantly hungry.
If I can divert you for 5 minutes from the NEB chairmanship, the papers are ready now on the Central American Strategic Highway.
You and your CAS highway's like a gramophone record.
It's rapidly wearing out. Will you listen?
I have. The bank will never release funds for it. Not while the industry at home is as tight as it is.
Well, the bank will still want a profit. That's why Reverage's lot came in.
Well, they'll get one. Not as big as they expected, but better than most firms. And we got the reserves we wanted.
Well, let's use them. Before Wilder does.
Use or save, yes. But not squander. While this lot is in charge, you might be glad of some solid reserves. No, Kenneth.
As you know, Mr. Panton, we have substantial reserves. As far as I'm concerned, money is for making a profit.
Then you're wasting your time. You're in the wrong business with civil engineering, the state it's in.
Well, that's why we diversify or cut down on subcontractors' costs. One of the highest, which is the hire of plant. I think it's about time that Bligh's had their own hire plant division.
Then set one up.
I'd sooner have one ready-made. And we could still supply the rest of the industry profitably. If we set up our own hire division, you lose 2/3 of your income anyway.
And you spent a fortune in new equipment.
We happen to have the money.
And I've got machinery in the yard.
Which will rot unless we hire it. While you've got Bligh's as a customer, you're a going concern. Without them, you're running a jumble sale. You have no choices, only those of attitude. Accept gracefully, and we'll talk figures. Otherwise, you're beating your head against a stone wall.
I'm not a graceful man, Wilder. I never have been. This isn't a graceful business.
It's your head. I just provide the wall. More coffee?
Now, don't say you're ringing from here, the Motorways Council. You better say you're speaking from Bly's. First, try Ted Newark. I'll have to nail the unions. A lunch or something, I'll wear my red tie. And then get hold of that flabby-faced PPS. What's his name? You know, he's the whipper-in for Lord Ruthless.
Preston.
Yes, that's right. He's well in with the Board of Trade. But you'll need a good excuse for him. Don't mention the Exports Board.
He's keen on preservation societies.
He would be. Well, tell him I've been converted to thatched roofs. And then get on with the rest.
Rather a mixed batch.
Oh, it's a hodgepodge. But they've all got a big say in exports.
Very well, Mr. Bly. Mr. Kenneth asked me to remind you to look at the correspondence file from Bly's. Quite a lot of it's urgent.
No, that can wait. I can't be bothered with that now. And no calls.
Yes? Who? Just a minute. Mr. Panton, to see you.
Well, Joe Panton? Is he here? What does he want? Oh, send him in. Buzz me back in 5 minutes.
Will you send him in, please? There's a memo from Sir John Wilder in here. It's about Mr. Panton's firm.
Hello, Joe. How's the shovel business?
Well, you should know. Your hatchet man's been having a good look at it.
Sit down, Joe. Huh. So it seems. It's not my doing, Joe.
Nobody said it was, not after 25 years. The question is, what can you do now?
Yes, sir?
Tell Mr. Kenneth and Sir John Wilder I'd like to see them at 2 o'clock over at Bly's.
Yes, sir.
Saw your picture in the papers this morning. You're a busy man.
Hello.
Hello. And what is it this time? Where's John?
Oh, the usual and unexpected meeting. Oh, a pink gin, please.
That's...
And me in my usual capacity of trusty but drunken go-between.
It's like something in a comic opera, isn't it? Second act, baritone aria, my beloved master is detained on business.
Well, get in a bit about the trusty go-between sex life, will you? It's suffering.
I'm sorry, Don. I didn't mean to be so... I mean, thank you for coming.
It's all part of the service. You should see my florist bills.
Business. It's the one big reason, isn't it? Fundamental. It's prehistoric, almost. He's out with his stone club, and that's all that's important.
You're learning.
You're kept fully informed, Caswell. I don't expect to carry a pigeon through the window 10 minutes after I sent you a memo, but I do think that no reaction at all means some form of broad agreement.
You know damn well I've been busy.
With the National Export Board and the Motorways Council. You can't have everything.
Well, it's still a 3-man vote. You, Kenneth, and myself.
No, not quite. This is finance, not operations. Revage comes into it.
Only if you pull him into it. No. I'm against taking over Joe Panton's business. I've known him too long.
You're confusing Old Lang Syne with economics.
Yes, John's right, Father.
What?
Well, capital's for using, not hanging on to as a principle.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Only as a matter of principle, not fact. I want the money available. That's all.
It's all agreed, then. 2 to 1.
No. I'll never agree to it.
You can't do anything about it. This is democracy in action. Isn't it, Kenneth?
enough paid to give me advice, only stick to accountancy. All right, so it's hopeless. I can still be awkward, can't I? Look, George, I don't give a damn how much tax you salvage. I've had my feet on my own desk for too long to start taking him off when Wilder comes in. Yes, I know. They give me the same story. No wish to interfere with the present management. Not until they've learned the ropes. I'm sorry, George. I know when I'm beaten, but there's no law that says I have to be reasonable about it.
You've never been reasonable in your life.
Yeah, all right. Goodbye, George.
Hello, Joe.
Well, the junior partner. You come to count the takings as well?
Go on, beat your chest. Get it over with.
Yes, sir. Am I going to have to call you sir?
No, you won't have to call anybody anything once you've realized this isn't a fight between two excavator pushers. And you can't solve it by knocking heads together and bellowing.
You're getting to be quite a big lad, aren't you, huh? Giving advice and everything.
You know, you sound like my father. And I must say the short trouser routine's beginning to wear thin.
Whose side are you on, Ken?
Nobody's. I'm in the middle. For once, I'm the referee. And we need a plant hire firm, like a steeplejack needs a wooden leg.
Can you stop Wilder?
No. Nor can my father.
But that's it, then.
Not while he's using figures. The bank could back him from here to Fort Knox. On paper, it's eminently sensible. But short term. Oh, I'd like to see money turned loose. But not to buy you up.
And you can't do anything. Sounds like the letters my old man used to write home. I'm sending you £1, but not this week.
You can stop it, if you want to.
Well, not according to my accountant.
Ah, he's used to accounts. You're an expert on plant. You know, I'm becoming an expert on Wilder.
Yeah, sooner you than me. What can I do?
Are your orders for new equipment in?
Yes, last week.
To what value?
Oh, £200,000.
Cancel them.
What?
Then reorder abroad. Then make a lot of noise about it as being a policy of the new company.
So what good does that do?
Wilder's a member of the National Export Board. He's supposed to be encouraging confidence in British firms, not buying foreign. Do it quietly at first. Tell the unions. Have a word with Edward Newark.
It's a bit sharp for my liking.
Well, it's up to you. Tell you one thing. Get cablegrams of acknowledgement from abroad for orders that size. Preferably Germany. And Wilder has to drop the whole idea. See, the export board's becoming very big now. He couldn't afford to be booted off it. He wouldn't be able to keep an eye on father.
Suppose it doesn't work.
What have you lost?
Yes. Cancel all the new plant orders that went out last week. You heard me, cancel. And then bring in the overseas equipment manual. And tell somebody on the switchboard I want them to stay late. I remember when you worked for me one holiday. You were about 16. Long time ago.
Very long time. All I had to worry about then was pimples. Don't forget Newark.
Mr. Newark is here to see you.
Ah, good. Oh, it's getting late.
And Sir Gordon Revage telephoned. I told him you didn't want to be disturbed, and he said it wasn't urgent. He wanted to congratulate you on the facts and figures of the Panton business. He received them this morning and thought it a very worthwhile scheme.
But this morning? Well, get me Sir John Wilder.
A line, please.
No, don't bother. It's too late now. Show Newark in. Hello, Ted. Nice to see you. Sorry you couldn't make lunch.
No, you're out of touch, Caswell. Everybody's dodging the expense account image these days. I know at least 4 ministers who are never seen anywhere without a packet of sandwiches.
Oh, more fools them. You can't work on stodge. Sit down. Will you have a drink?
Oh, thank you.
Cigarette.
Please. Thank you.
Well, Ted, it's good of you to call round for a chat.
About the NEB chairmanship.
I'm not subtle, but I could do better than that. I've no need to lobby, you know. Who else is in the running?
Nobody, as far as I know, but then you wouldn't invite me for lunch just to talk about the price of cement.
All right, Ted, since you brought it up. What about the chairmanship?
That's better. Now, you've cultivated a reputation for frankness, so I'll borrow some of it. It's not an elective job. It's a nomination by the minister. And it carries a great deal of power. So I'm not for you. You're a bit too fond of your own way. But then we might need this. So I'm not against you either. As long as I can watch you. Put me down as completely neutral.
Good enough. You were the one I was worried about.
Mr. Newark, please. Will you be there tomorrow? This is the 3rd time I've phoned. Panton, Joe Panton. But will you take a message and make sure he gets it? There's something I want to talk to him about. Yes, it's union business, and I'd appreciate it if he'd come in and see me. Yes, he knows where to find me.
Photographs in the mornings, gossip column blurbs in the evenings. Our Caswell's becoming a regular little beetle.
Freely tipped as the next NEB chairman, top political tycoon. Unquote. Well, it's all over by the shouting, according to them.
Unfortunately. If only I had another year. Just one more year. Yes?
Lady Wilder is here, Sir John.
Oh, I'm delighted. Send her in.
I knew you would be.
However, I would like a little advance notice. This isn't a lost property office.
If I didn't know you better, I'd say you're subconscious for sure.
We're not really lost property, you know. We just feel like it sometimes.
I've been shopping. I thought you might like to give me a drink.
Thirsty work shopping.
Oh, not thirst, more the cocktail hour syndrome. A dislike of looking at a solitary reflection in a solitary glass.
Sounds like something from Wordsworth.
You've been doing the crosswords again.
Win a long boat trip to Bermuda.
Don, look after Pamela for a few minutes, will you? I still have a few phone calls to make.
Oh, enchanted, as always.
National Export Board. Miss Weldon, please. Oh, I see. This is Sir John Wilder. Would you tell her that I won't be able to deliver the summary this evening as promised, but that she'll have it tomorrow without fail? Thank you.
Yes, I'll certainly bring the matter up. Useful meeting, very businesslike.
I thought the military were a bit long-winded.
They pay enough development money they're entitled to be. Arms exports is something in which they're very interested.
I heard somebody quote Gillingham.
The word's getting round. I think he may have left it a bit late, though. And Bligh has not been ignoring his contacts. Run along if you like, Susan. I'll see to the demolition squad.
No hurry, I'm expecting a telephone call.
Well, in that case, I would like to catch the 6:20.
I'm in no hurry at all.
I'll see you in the morning, then.
What does it matter what time Revage knew? The approval's the same?
Did you know about it?
Of course I didn't, but it wouldn't have made any difference.
Now, look, Ken, as long as I have a say in things, you will not do business in this manner.
Ah, not now, Father. No, you're not on television. I'm a little tired of having absolutes thrown at me. And tired of shuttling between you and Wilder like a office boy with an executive car.
So you buy up Joe Panton, just to prove you were sane.
You know, sometimes you do well to listen to somebody besides yourself. Nobody said anything about buying up Panton.
Wilder did. And you supported him.
As a principle. All I want is money available. Now, let's get that first. Then argue about how to use it.
It's all arranged. You'll never get a say in it.
Thank you for the vote of confidence. But at least I'm trying. If your more important business permits, I'll see you tomorrow.
How long ago was this? Oh, I see. Yes, I understand. And Sir John was sure about tomorrow, though. Good. Well, provided I have the summary by tomorrow, it's not critical. Thank you so much. Good night.
Morning, John.
Morning, Gaz.
I wonder if you could spare a few minutes.
Oh, sit down.
I'm afraid I've got some rather disturbing news.
For me? Oh, for us.
You, mainly.
All right, then, let's have it.
Joe Panton has cancelled all his orders for British equipment. He's buying a lot abroad. About £200,000 worth.
Why?
It's always been unpredictable. Might be better credit terms, might be anything.
It might be deliberately to put me in a very embarrassing position.
Especially with the NEB. Yes, I realize that.
I can see you can. I can't wave the flag for exports with one hand and buy foreign with the other. Neat. I wonder who put him up to it. You're learning, Kenneth. But it might backfire. It might affect your father more than it affects me.
Oh, I don't think so. You know, Father, he's been making too much public noise about his opposition to it. Now everybody knows that it's your pigeon.
Everybody?
Well, Edward Newark, for example, affects his union.
And he's a member of the National Export Board, too. It becomes even neater.
I've been thinking about an alternative.
I'm sure you have.
We have agreement for released funds in principle from the bank. Now, we could drop the Panton scheme like a hot brick if we could produce a better one.
Well, I'm all for pats on the head rather than brickbats. Makes a change.
Damn it, John, I'm trying to help.
Then cut out the hypocrisy. What do you want instead of Pantons?
The CAS highway, field team, site survey, design staff out there, and a posted declaration of intent to tender.
And you think you can make it look a better deal than Pantons?
You know I can.
All right, then. You've got your CAS highway, and I've lost Pantons.
You're taking this very calmly.
Why not? All disasters leave a few pieces behind. The secret is to shuffle the pieces into the pattern that you want.
Morning, Jane.
Morning. You look very pleased with yourself.
I've just come from a very successful meeting.
Well, Mr. Caswell won't be here for 10 minutes.
Oh, no, I better come to gloat before I catch my plane. I'll make a telephone call, if I may.
Certainly.
Panton plant, please. I want to speak to Mr. Panton.
Hello, Panton
Mr. Panton, please.
I'm sorry, Mr. Panton's engaged at the moment.
Oh, this is rather urgent.
He left firm instructions, sir. I'm sorry. I can't disturb him. He's with a Mr. Newark.
Then you've got to disturb him. Send his secretary in with a message.
I can't do that.
No, I'm sorry. You've got to. Tell him this is Kenneth Bligh.
I can't disturb him, but I'll tell him you called, sir.
You've gone to a great deal of trouble to tell me all this.
You'd have heard anyway. I'd rather you got it from me direct. But two of the firms I usually buy from are on short time as it is. Once they start laying off your members, at least you'll have had some warning. I don't like it any more than you do. This is what happens when you're not your own boss.
Blighs have kept very quiet about it all.
Oh, no, Bligh's wilder. Well, I wasn't going to shout about being bought up. Final papers aren't signed yet.
The foreign orders are in your name, of course.
Oh, yes. And acknowledged.
Typical. A very selective crusader for exports, our John. Well, he can't polish his prestige with a seat on the NEB and operate like this.
Oh, I shouldn't think he'll back down. Now you probably blame me. Offer to drop the whole takeover.
Would that bother you?
Well, not a bit. Wasn't my idea in the first place. And I don't like putting men out of work.
I'll see him this afternoon. It's about time somebody told Wilder he can't have everything. I'll let you know. Or better still, he will.
All right. Yeah. Put him on. Hello, Ken. You were right, boy. It worked. What? Well, no, Newark's just left. I don't know where he's gone. But look, Ken, you can't tell him it's been called off already. It's too close. But I know he's going to see Wilder this afternoon. Wilder will tell him, won't he? He'll have to. Let's just leave it alone. All right. Ring me when you get back.
So you're off. Short and sweet. Now, what did you want?
Oh, nothing. It can wait. I'll be back from Milan on Friday.
Oh, it must have been something. Jane said you were full of bounce.
Wilder's dropping the Panton business.
What?
That's all.
All? He'll be spitting blood. Good. Now we can all get on to some work. You've not done badly, Ken.
I hope you're right.
I'm the one who should be fed up.
Of course, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm not used to pipsqueaks like young Kenneth Bligh poking their childish spokes in and getting away with it.
It's not your week, is it? There's no quiet evenings, no me. No big business swoops.
Caswell, Bligh looking like a walkover for the chairmanship of the NEB. Come on, let's get happily drunk and go back to the flat.
Mr. Rex, at least. A girl likes to feel needed.
I hire a troubadour.
I don't expect pretty speeches, but I do expect a slightly less utilitarian approach. I'm not used to feeling like an aspirin for the express relief of tired businessmen.
I'm sorry. No, well, I'm not. If you want fancy wrapping, we'll stop at a stationer's on the way and get some.
It's a good idea anyway. I'll phone the office from the flat.
Good.
There's one item of gossip that might cheer you up. Bligh is in the running, but he's by no means a walkover. Gillingham's very much in the lead.
Gillingham, the civil servant's friend. You sure?
Well, not gossip, then. Fact.
Well, he's quite a contender.
Excuse me, madam. Telephone message for you, sir. From a Mr. Henderson. Said a Mr. Newark wants to see you urgently and will be at your office at 4.
Thank you. Oh, just a minute. Will you ring Mr. Henderson back for me and tell him to keep Mr. Newark there till I arrive. I may be a little late.
Certainly, sir.
Well, that's something. But I was hoping you'd stay for dinner.
I wonder what Newark wants. How many people know about Gillingham?
Quite a few, I should imagine. Why don't you ask your House of Commons contacts?
Every time I look at it, I think Turner had his head screwed on.
Barges with big sails, tales of foreign parts.
And the Parrot House just behind us.
That's more like you. Hello, Caswell.
Hello, my dear. Every woman should wear furs. It makes them look corseted.
It's a disguise, but I'm glad it's effective.
Beware of honest women.
There aren't any.
And I won't ask you what you're doing here.
There's no need, I'll tell you. John asked me to cancel a hair appointment and scurry over. It's our version of happy families. Some of my most boring relatives are in the government, and occasionally I'm conscripted so that John can descend on them and glean gossip as a genial visitor. I got bored and came out.
It happens. I've just had 2 hours polite nodding myself.
Sorry to keep you. You know how Henry goes on. Hello, Caswell.
Hello, John.
We've been admiring the view.
And talking about families. I'm glad you dropped the Panton business.
Well, I'll always listen to reason. Kenneth had a better proposition and forced me to see it. Simple as that.
Better for whom?
For all of us. I must go, Pamela. I've got somebody waiting for me.
Then I'll take her out to tea. It's freezing out here.
I'd like that.
Good. I'm afraid I may be
A little late this evening, sir. Don't wait dinner. Don't wait up even.
Well, we're all very busy. Ask Caswell.
Oh, he keeps on the move, I'll say that for him.
Oh, yes. Lochinvar in a Rolls Royce.
Nice of you to dash in personally and tell me it's all off.
Well, I didn't want you to be upset.
I'll faint later. I shouldn't imagine people see you very often as a bearer of glad tidings.
Not all glad. I'm afraid you must look forward to a substantial decrease in business from us.
I'll live. It's a bit vindictive, though.
Not at all. You've been dropped for one of Kenneth Bly's pet schemes. A very expensive one. With all the will in the world, a company cannot be expected to spend the same money twice.
John telephoned a few minutes ago. He shouldn't be long now.
You must have had a very busy afternoon.
Oh, it's about par for the course. Would you like some more tea?
No, thank you. If there's one characteristic I've developed in this business, it's patience.
Yeah, and your girl called Patience once. She was quite developed.
If you're busy, Mr. Henderson, please don't let me keep you. I've a lot of work I can do.
If you're quite sure.
Hello, Ted. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. This damn traffic gets worse. I shall have to send another memo to Caswell about it.
Good afternoon.
Well, that's a very businesslike greeting.
Yes, I'm here on business.
Well, that's what offices are for. What can I do for you?
Some explaining. Why a firm you're in the process of acquiring should suddenly place all its orders abroad.
Ah. I see. You mean Pantons?
If you can do this, you have no right on the NEB. You cannot have both.
Spoken like a true idealist. But with respect, Edward, you're talking a load of rubbish. A government you support buys foreign every day. Aircraft from America, machine tools from Germany, all the way down a long list.
Because it has to.
No, Edward, because of price considerations. Think about that.
Now, at the risk of sounding very old-fashioned, I am paid to think about men's jobs.
And that's why Joe Panton was able to stampede you into rushing down here.
The opinion stands, John. You cannot have both.
It's very different for you, you know. Your members cough up their shillings, and you get paid. So you can afford to be public-spirited. I'm in commerce. It's a much tougher proposition. The people who cough up shillings for me expect a profit.
You're not stupid, John. You cannot have expected me to do nothing about this.
I didn't expect you to use the National Export Board as a cudgel. You're sticking your neck out there. You're worried about unemployment in your union. Fine. Laudable. But it means you're as much here for the same personal reasons as I am.
Oh, that's a phrase I'm familiar with. Sooner or later, it floats over every negotiating table.
By all means. Let's negotiate. But what I won't tolerate is the pious bullying that you started off in here.
I'm prepared to hear your side of it, of course.
Very good of you. Now, there may not be any problem. I'm prepared to admit that the Panton business might embarrass me with the National Export Board.
I'd make sure it would.
Take your cloth cap off, Ted. You're not trying to impress a branch meeting now. You'll accept that Bly's need to make a profit.
I'd say that was your business, not mine.
But now you're involved in it, uninvited. Improperly, in my view.
I've broken the rules before. Don't worry about me.
Do you know why we bought Panton?
Empire building, the Bly Colossus.
Oh, no. That's the obvious reason. But it's wrong. I bought Pantons because we're about to lose Caswell Bly. If he becomes chairman of the National Export Board, we lose our chief civil engineering executive. So we diversify. Of course, if Bly were to stay, I'd drop the Panton deal in a minute.
Don't wrap it up for me, John. If you want me to oppose Bly for chairmanship, just say so.
Now you're oversimplifying. I'm merely presenting a set of sound commercial reasons for a series of actions.
Bly or Gillingham?
Well, that's the choice, as I understand it.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If the choice is between those two...
And it is?
Then I don't care who gets it. All right, John, now I'm pro-Gillingham.
And the Panton deal is off.
I can only express preference, of course. And that's all I will do. I might not make any difference.
Well, that's a risk I'll have to take. I was at the House of Commons this afternoon.
You'll have to find a good reason for backing out of Panton's.
I can do that. Probably the CAS highway. One thing is certain. We can't go around telling people that your union put the pressure on and use the National Export Board as a lever. Now, can we?
I'm glad that's over.
Your first experience of the scuffling for a major appointment? I find it hard, but exhilarating. One finds unexpected friends, sudden enemies, opposition, and support. Some of it amateurish, some expert.
Well, the meeting went on longer than I thought.
It was the closest I've seen. A lot of pressure on the minister. I must go back to the office and write the letters. I wonder how Bly will take it.
2 days ago, the job was mine. Today, they appoint Gillingham. From nowhere.
Well, he's had a lot of experience.
No more than I have. I talked with everybody who had a say. They were for me or they were neutral.
You can't tell.
I thought I could. Then the unions got off the fence. Somebody brought Ted Newark into it.
The bank have approved funds for the CAS highway.
Well, at least you got what you wanted.